a divine being. So close your eyes and just for a moment and think, what if I'm going to come around and you're going to tell me your first response? What if?
What if I did not believe there were obstacles in my way? What if I believe that there's more than enough?
What if I believed worry was truly an illusion?
What if, Reverend Arpad?
I was sitting in the back row.
What if you were sitting in the back row? Okay.
What if I could have everything I dream?
Yes. Dr. Heather.
What if our center was filled every Sunday and every Wednesday?
Yes, I like that.
What if there was never any stress?
What if I could be who I am meant to be always?
What if I could accept God everywhere I am?
What if I could remember that I and God are one always?
What if peace was everywhere?
What if there were peace everywhere?
So it's a very good exercise. And you can do that at home. You can just get a sheet of paper and just put at the top, put, what if? What if it was all good all the time? I mean, it is, but we live in that illusion sometimes that it is not. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday's Wisdom, Practicing the Presence. My name is Judy Chapman, and I am one of the assistant ministers here at the center, and it is my pleasure and my joy to welcome each and every one of you here this evening for our wonderful, wonderful Wednesday night service. So whoever you are and whatever path you're on, you are welcome here. We are an all-inclusive center, and we honor and we respect all walks, all cultures, and all religions. So tonight, our practitioner is Dr. Jeannie Houndshell. And after we do the chant, Show Me the Way by Carl Anthony, she will open our service with a affirmative prayer. And then right after that, she's going to share a short demonstration of prayer treatment, because that's what this is all about. We know that prayer works. As I was in the parking lot pulling in tonight, I had a friend call me 3 hours ago and said that her daughter was missing in Oregon. She'd been missing for 12 hours, and the police could not, it's 24 hours, I think, for missing persons. So she was frantic. She said, please pray with me. I said, okay, will do. So that was 3 hours ago. When I drove in, she called and said that they have found her, and she's in the hospital, and she's stable. So prayer works. Prayer always works. So let us start with the chant.
And in this place of quiet, of peace, we remember that God is all there is. We take a moment to imagine what that means. The creator of all. Wow. That's powerful. All health, all abundance, all inspiration, every idea that anyone or thing has ever had is God. Can we open our minds to what a magnificent, magnificent God we believe in? And knowing that, I absolutely know that that is all I am, and all each one of you is. That magnificence, that power, that health, that creativity. Can you imagine that? Because it is the truth. And I claim that each of us begins to accept that tonight. Because when we accept that truth, we start to live that truth. We start to live our inspirations. We start to live our joy. We start to live peace. And peace must begin with each of us. We start to live our dreams. And we finish what we start. And we follow our guidance so that our lights just shine. And everyone we touch is changed. That's kind of what being whole, perfect, and complete is. And you are, and I am. And so with great gratitude, we accept this truth about ourselves. And we prepare to move forward, following our path, opening our arms to receive all the love, all the health, all the prosperity, all the ideas that will flow to us so easily. And so knowing this truth and this gratitude, I just place it into the law, knowing that it will bring so much more than even we've imagined. And we open our hearts and say, yes, I am ready. And we affirm that by saying together, and so it is. Amen. Well, my demonstration is one of those where I got a whole lot more than I could have imagined, and certainly more than I asked for. My husband, Ken, had passed away, and I had spent the better part of a year doing very hard grief work. And my son says, Mom, you've got to spend a month at the cabin because you're losing weight, you're too tired. And I said, okay. And it went so much healing. I walked in. So I was here. So I prayed and I said, I want this to be healed. I want to be able to live with joy again. Walked into the cabin, and here were all of Richard Bach's books, the most recent ones. And so they just spoke at every level to my heart. So I was packing to come home, and I said, okay, now I want a girlfriend. Ken had taken 24/7 care, and I hadn't had time to make friends here. And he'd been my friend, and he was gone. And so I treated that I'd be led easily and effortlessly to find someone who was also looking for a friend. Came back and popped up on the computer that Reverend Patty was leading an Adventures in Faith class, and it was just like a couple of blocks from my house. And so I went. And there I found Faith and Estelle. And Estelle just took me under her wings and said, you're going to come to our center. You'll love it. And guess what? Bill was there. And so I came. And I now have so many wonderful friends. I mean, I could not have ever treated to get what I got, but I treated. And that's the way we do it. We don't have to spell it all out. That wonderful creative law has all the resources available to bring all of you to me. And that's the way it works.
Thank you, Dr. Jeannie. You know, we each have so many demonstrations of affirmative prayer in our life every day. Sometimes we don't take the time to recognize it. Think, oh, wow, wasn't that a coincidence that happened? Hi, Catherine. How nice to see you. It's been so long. But we have it. We call them little miracles every single day. All the wonderful things that happen to us. So prayer works. Prayer works. You know, we're here on Wednesdays. We call it Wednesday's Wisdom, practicing the presence, because we practice, and makes perfect. So we practice by chanting, doing meditation, praying, listening to inspirational speakers, listening to wonderful music, and having fellowship with each other. But another spiritual practice is happiness. Did you ever think of spiritual practice as being happy? It is a spiritual practice. Reverend Jeff Lang wrote this long time ago, and he had 7 laws to be happy. Number 1 was release your fears and resentment into the past. Wow, yes. Love to do that. Number 2, express gratitude. Let go of judgments. We can't be grateful and have judgment at the same time. It's impossible. So gratitude. Number 3, decide to grow and expand in consciousness. Number 4, laugh. Humor reflects your attitude. Ha ha ha. Yes, very good. Ha ha ha. Well, they have that laughing yoga, right? I remember that. Number 5 was love yourself unconditional. You know, when we had the video and it said, what if? The first thing I thought of is, what if I could stop, or what if I did stop that self-talk, the negative self-talk about, oh, why did you do that? Oh. So here it is. Love yourself unconditional. Create wellness. That is the natural order. And number 7, stay in touch with your intuition. It will always guide you in the right and perfect direction. So this week, your homework is to be happy. So I'm sure that won't be a very hard thing for y'all to do. Well, now it is such a joy for me to introduce our speaker this evening. And he's not a guest speaker. He is now one of our staff ministers, and we're thrilled about this. Reverend Arpad was with us a while back and went off and did his own thing, and now he's back for a while. Yes. And so tonight he's going to talk to us about, you are perfect, whole, and complete. Now what? Reverend Arpad Petrass.
Thanks, Dr. Jean, Reverend Judy. Jeez Louise. Getting all untangled here. It's kind of crazy. I am thrilled to be here tonight, let me tell you, because I've got so much going on in my brain right now. I've given this talk at least 100 times. And every one of these times, it has been different. I don't have the faintest clue what I'm going to say today. Well, I do. But I don't know how it's going to turn out. And I have to surrender this talk to a higher presence, a higher consciousness. I'm going to surrender it to God. And I'm going to surrender it to you, because maybe as a group, we could come up with what my talk is really about. You're perfect, you're whole, complete, now what? What does that mean? Good question. What does it mean? So I'm going to start out by asking you a question. Is it possible that your core values, your core beliefs, the things that you hold most dear in your life, the thing that makes you who you are, is actually holding you back? Is that possible? The next question is, what do you do when you have negative beliefs that have infiltrated your core beliefs? Just think about those two things for a second. Because this has been spinning and spinning and spinning in my head for a while. So we're going to start out with our teaching. We have a very rich, powerful teaching that tells us a couple things. What's one of our core values? What are some of our core beliefs? That thoughts are powerful, right? Thoughts are things. Thoughts have energy. Thoughts are the process and the building blocks of creation, co-creation. Every thought we have, we are co-creating something in our universe. So we say things like, what you think about, you bring about. What you focus on shows up. What you believe to be true manifests in your life, right? Right? Yes. So what do we do with that? Okay? Our teaching is exceptional when it comes to trying to get us to think about the positive, but sometimes our teaching needs a little nudge when thoughts infiltrate our thinking. What do you do when you're sick? What do you do when you have cancer? What do you do when you have lost a relationship or you're looking for the love of your life? How do you deal with those thoughts, right? So what brought this thing to me was I met a man about 8 weeks ago. He was a light worker. He is a person who deals with energies, okay? So what do we know about energy workers, right? Well, as far as I'm concerned, the whole universe is filled with energy, right? These chairs that appear to be solid are not so. Science tells us that these are moving particles. We get to the microscope, then we get deeper into that, then we get to subatomic, and there's another layer of nanos and super nanos and everything else, but everything is moving in time and space, right? Nothing is solid, nothing is as it appears. So we started talking, and this man, he also deals with chakras, right? So you know what chakras are, right? So how would you describe a chakra? Energy center. So what happens when your chakras get blocked? Get stuck. Now think about this. It gets stuck. I mean, was there something in here? I mean, is it like kind of moving around? Or, I mean, what happens? How does it get stuck? Well, science even tells us that we'll take stress, for example. When you are in stress, stress goes to the weakest part of your body, and that's where it lives and resides. So everybody has stress at different times in their life, and it shows up differently physically in their life, right? So this is very, very confusing, because he said something that really startled me and jarred me as a person, because I'm pretty confident in what I think. You know, some of you know me, you know I have opinions. I'm a pretty opinionated person at times, and I take that with a great sense of confidence. I like my opinions. I like my beliefs. You know, as we go through life, we kind of do this checklist kind of thing. So we have a life experience, and then we see if it aligns with our core values, and we see if that is who we are, and if that is who we are, we check the box, right? We put it over here. And then if we have another experience that is not in alignment with ourselves, that's not who we are, what do? You still check the box and you put it over here. But the over here part is the part that we tend to forget. We don't think very much about. So he challenged me in a way to make me think, suppose my core values, what I held to be true, which I live my life by, is wrong. When's the last time you checked in with your core values? And when's the last time you put it to a test to see what is it about? Now, I want to read you something by this famous Hungarian philosopher, circa September 9th, 2015. And he said, a belief is a system that allows you to reach a certain place or destination in your thinking. The belief is not meant to keep you there or keep you anywhere. To continue to grow and evolve on your spiritual unfoldment, we must change our perception of our experiences. We must constantly be willing to challenge our old belief systems and change our current thinking. Otherwise, we'll find ourselves stuck in the plateau of our stagnant thinking. That's a lot of words. But what does that say? What does that say? Because when I realized that what I thought was true, and I didn't challenge it, that was my only ability to see that experience, and that was it. I shut myself down because I checked the box. Now let me give you an example of where that actually can work in my life. Some of you know I work at Disneyland, right? I work kind of crazy hours. Sometimes I go to bed at 8 o'clock at night. Sometimes I go to bed at midnight. Sometimes I come home at midnight. Sometimes I go to bed at 4 o'clock. Sometimes I come home at 4 o'clock. I go to bed at all different times of the day because if you know anything about Disneyland, when you go to the park, you never see work being done. It's always done after everyone leaves because there's a reason for that. Walt never wanted you to experience anything other than the fantasy that you were in. So if you don't know this little fact about Disneyland is when you go to the original park, There is a natural berm. You cannot see outside of the park because there's a building or a tree or a bush or a statue or a ride in front of you. He wanted you to stay in your own imagination. Okay? So, to make a long story short, sometimes I sleep in the back bedroom. I sleep in the back bedroom so I could give my poor wife a chance to get some rest when I come home at all hours of the night. And I have a neighbor. This neighbor's porch faces my backyard, happens to face the bedroom. And he likes to talk. He likes to talk very loud. He likes to get on his cell phone at odd hours of the night, 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, thinking the whole world is up. You know how irritating that is when you're trying to get to sleep? And I started to get into this sense of anger and frustration and a sense of resentment. And I didn't know what to do with it. So I came across this concept, which I'm going to call allowing. Okay? Now, I use allowing as a tool. I use allowing as a way for me to filter my thoughts when I get into a place that I don't like, a place where I am uncomfortable with the situation, a place that makes me uneasy, that it's not my core values. It's a tool. It's a tool to filter through. Now, allowing is not tolerating. Don't get that confused. You're not tolerating anything, because when you tolerate anything, you get into resentment. If you get into resentment, you get into anger. If you get into anger, you get... What else can go wrong when you're angry? You got a clue? Everything? Your world seems to fall apart, does it not? So I use allowing as a tool that says, this is how I allow more God into my life right here and right now. It is inviting a higher power, a higher consciousness, a higher awareness greater than myself to work with me. Guess who's my co-creator? Who do you think that could be? Who is your co-creator? It's not your husband. It's not your wife. It's not your spouse. It's not your best friend. It is who? God. A consciousness. Something greater than yourself is that power and that presence. So when you allow, you are inviting God into your life and you're saying, hey man, help me out. And it's a simple little technique because all you say is allow. I'm allowing. Who's uncomfortable right now? Anyone? Yes. My work is done. We're done. Goodbye. No, what you do is you say it quietly. You say it to yourself. You say it in your own presence, and you just say, I am allowing, or I am allowing. Allowing says this. Allowing says that I have a truth, I have a higher consciousness, I have a set of core values that are true for me, and they are right for me, and they serve me. But I know that you have a set of core values that are true for you, and right for you, and serve you. Now, our differences, we may have differences and they may be totally different, but you have a right to exist. I have a right to exist. Allowing also says, I don't want you to follow me and do what I do. I want you to allow me to be me. Allowing. It's also a technique which almost gives you like a do-over. Have you ever wanted a do-over in your life? Has there been any situation that, boy, you wish you could change? Well, we're going to get into that a little bit later, or maybe sooner than later. See, the law of attraction tells us that anything that is like itself, it will attract. The law of creation says anything that you give power to and energy to and intensity to must manifest. And that's where we tend to stop. Allowing is the next step in filtering your thoughts to manifest and create and take away things that don't serve you. Okay? Think about that for a second. Just think about allowing. Does it make you queasy? Does it make you uncomfortable? Does it make you think? Does it make you pause? What could you allow right now to happen in your life? So we are going to do a little meditation that we're going to practice, just like Reverend Judy said, we practice on Wednesday. Well, you know me, I love to practice. I love to meditate. I love to have people do things and feel uncomfortable. Because that's the only way you move forwards. That's why I love teaching classes, because the moment you teach a class, that's the real moment. That's the aha moment. That's when somebody goes, oh my God, I just got it. You know? Now, I love Sundays, but I get more oh my gods in a classroom. I really do, because there's a connection. There's a one-to-one. There's a way of bringing in, letting go, surrendering, and making me feel like I'm just like everybody else. I'm not doing the work. Hell no, I am doing the work. You guys are doing the work in the classroom. That's a fact. Changing your perception of your experience is what changes your view of the world. Changing your perception of your experience is what allowing is all about. Because with my neighbor, you know what happened? He didn't change a damn. I changed. I don't hear his irritating voice anymore. When he speaks, it just seems to just disappear. I can sleep in the back room without hearing his voice. Because what I realized is I started to allow the possibilities of why my neighbor needs to be up at this ungodly time of the evening when I want him to be asleep. Well, he's got a night job, clearly. He comes home, he wants to relax. Well, what do you do when you want to relax? You know, he sits on the porch, he calls his friends. His wife comes out, they argue, you know. It's marvelous. But it doesn't bother me nearly as much as it used to. That's practicing my presence, which is allowing. Now, this version of this talk was nothing like the 100 before. So what I want to do is I would like to do a meditation, and I would like you to get comfortable. And then afterwards, I am hoping that you would want to share your experience, whatever it is. You don't have to share, I know. You don't, no one's going to make you share. But if you don't share, no. No, but just trust God. Trust in the universe that whatever you feel, whatever you experience, whatever you are told in your meditation is just right for you. And that's all it is. It's just right for you. If you want to share it, fine. But we'll have the microphone. Reverend Judy will have the microphone so we can hear you. Okay? So, Miss Gina, my dear, would you... All right, just close your eyes and just get as comfortable as you can on this nice, cool, brisk evening. Change your perception of reality. Take a deep breath and just exhale. And take another deep breath and exhale again, going deeper Start at the top of your head and just feel very ever so gently that you're going lower and deeper. All stress from your neck is going deeper. Through your arms, you're going deeper. You just feel more relaxed. You take one more deep breath and you go deeper through your solar plexus, through your knees, through your feet, ever going deeper. And just go back in time. Go back in time. Someone said an unkind word to you. Maybe it was last week. Maybe it was last year. Or maybe it was when you were a very small child. Little boy or a little girl. Or maybe you're in middle school. So just take a moment. Look at your feet. Just look down. Look at your feet. What are you wearing? What's on your feet right now? And look around you and see where you are. Who is with you in this given moment in time and space? What do you want to say to this person who was unkind to you, or made you cry, or made you feel like you weren't worthy, or tall enough, or beautiful enough, or they teased you, or what would you say to them now? What would you want them to know about you? How you changed. How you're not that thing that caused you great upset. What would you say to them now? You cannot be who you were in the past, but you can change who you are today. You can allow a different outcome from that experience. You could change the perception of your life and your reality. You can set yourself free if you choose. Look at that person. Hold their hand, if you can, and say, "This is who I am. I am an individualized expression of God. You served a purpose once in my life, but I am not that anymore. I am the expression of love. I am the wind that blows. I am the sun that shines. I am the chosen. I am I am, that I am the love. Now I'll let them go. When you're ready, ever so slowly, just bring your attention back to this room. See yourself getting older. See yourself in the present moment going higher and higher. See yourself back in your chair. And now see yourself fully awake, present, and alert. And open your eyes. Wow, I didn't think I was gone there. What do you say after that? It was kind of like a do-over. That's all we have. We get to do over everything in our life if we choose to. We get to allow to change our thinking. We get to allow ourselves to be the best we can be. We get to allow our consciousness to be magnificent. We don't have to live in the past. We don't have to get stuck in the pain that brought us to certain places. Because, the truth of it is pain, and the Buddhists have known this for a very long time. Life is filled with pain, filled with suffering. That's not the point. The point is what you do about it, how you react to it, how you recover from it. You can't have light without the darkness. Otherwise you wouldn't see it. Does anybody want to share? Does anybody have something to share?
This just happened a couple days ago. About 5 months ago, I was riding my horse and with friends, and a dog attacked it. And my horse galloped away, and I came off. So I had a lot of physical things to heal from, and of course emotional. And in the last few months, I've been dealing with some post-concussive symptoms. I didn't hit my head on the ground, but they think I hit my head on the inside of my helmet. So I had been recommended to this person to go through these treatments, and I had signed up a month in advance, and he said, block out your calendar for 3 weeks afterwards. Don't do anything 3 weeks afterwards, and you're going to feel like you've had brain surgery afterwards. And so I was a little bit excited, but neutral. I didn't know if it would help or not. And as the date got closer, I was doing research online, but I was becoming increasingly uncomfortable because I wasn't a medical doctor. And then when my insurance company called him, he said, I can't tell them anything at all. I'm not licensed by the state. So the night before the treatment, I called him and I said, I really am uncomfortable with this, and I'm going to cancel the treatment. And he started to try to intimidate me, but I was in a really good state considering how I can be with this ordeal. And he said to me, I know what's wrong with your brain. I can fix it. I'm the only one who can fix it. And at that moment, I knew I had made the correct decision not to go to him, because what I do know is there are all kinds of things out there that will help me. So when you were doing the treatment, that's what I chose. And there's a little tiny voice in me that I've been dealing with the last 2 days that said, well, what if he's right? What if he's right? But that's only like 1% of my thinking. And my husband and I were talking about it the next morning, and he doesn't go to this church, but he said, Sandy, you have all the tools already. You have meditation. And this was way out of character for him, because my church life is my church life. He doesn't. You have meditation. You have prayer treatment. You have the prayer services that you go to every Sunday. You already have the tools to heal yourself. And I know that to be true.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else? No? Oh, Gene?
So you'll have to keep in mind that I want the example of the person that they just let come here, being one of these anywhere that you're at sort of people. So anyway, my mind went a little bit different direction in the meditation, trying to live in acceptance and gratitude. I sort of traveled, instead of in the past, to the future.
Okay.
About what if I quit practicing and was truly able to use the energy that I meet in God, positive, what we might call positive or negative, or even neutral. What if I were to be able to use that energy just as it were brought to me to do the work, to continue forward? So.
Interesting. Anyone else? Oh, Dr. Heather?
I want to share it because it was a surprise. And I always love your meditations, Rev Arpad. Thank you. It was beautiful. I went back to a time that was pivotal in my life. My very gentle father yelled at me, and it made me think that being quiet was the better way to be. And so I was just there holding his hand, and I didn't need to say, don't yell at me. I just said, I forgive you, Daddy. And it was it just filled my whole being. It was really beautiful. Thank you.
Sure. The truth of it is we need to practice trusting God. Okay? I don't know how else to say that. We so much get caught into the intellectual process of God and spirituality that we forget about the feeling process of God and spirituality. You are perfect, you are whole, you are complete. Absolutely. So what? Or now what? Okay, there is more. I'm telling you, there is more. Challenge your beliefs. Question them. Put them out there and let others look at them. Well, I don't know how you do that, but you get the idea. And see what comes back. Because there is another level. And I bet you we were all stuck here at some point in our thinking. At some level, we're in the middle. We're not up, we're not down, but we're so convinced that our thinking is the right way to think, and there's no other way, then there's no other possibilities. But the whole world, the whole universe is filled with possibilities. Countless millions of trillions of possibilities. There is one God, there's one consciousness, and it's for billions of people. How does he do it? Or how does she do it? Or how do they do it? I don't know. But isn't it fun to find out? So anyway, yes. You're the last one.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm way over.
I'm sorry. Well, with forgiveness, and you think you've done all of your work, and then when you're growing and you're allowing more information to come in, you're also allowing to expand your understanding of whatever was irritating you and enlarge your forgiveness.
Sorry, we are never done growing. We are never done forgiving. We are never done, period. It just keeps on going. You know, I can't, you're not done with forgiveness until you can show someone else how to forgive. You're never done with it, okay? And John Gray used to say this. He called it his Trashcan Theory. Then I'm done, I promise. You have an upset. You can't deal with it when you're a child. You get stuffed in a trash can. And then more things come on top of it. And they get stuffed in a trash can. Then you have more thoughts and more experiences and more unresolved crap in your life, and that gets put in the trash can. But it's not until you're in a safe place in your life where you feel safe that those things start bubbling up to the surface. They're still in there. They're still in there. But they start bubbling up. And once they start bubbling up, you have to deal with them. And then once you start dealing with them, your life changes. Then you keep on learning more about what you're saying. What I learned about this, but I thought I was done. Oh, no, I'm not done. Oh, there's some more. And then there's some more. And then there's some more until one day you learn how to help someone else forgive someone else. And then maybe we get a little closer. Namaste.